Welcome, Dr. James Beckett, Sports Card Insights, special Saturday episode. Thanks sponsors, Topps Panini Upper Deck, Mike Stadium Sports Cards, Burbank Sports Cards, Huggins & Scott Auctions, Heritage Auctions, ComC.com, and Beckett Media, Beckett Grading, Beckett Authentication. It was a sad day. Exactly a week ago, I was waiting for the obit. I haven't seen anything in great detail. But Fred Reed, certainly key contributor of the first 10 years of Beckett Publications, passed away, not in good health the last few years, but again, he was in his prime, I think, when he was working for our very much a vintage guy. He looked like a Civil War reenactor. He had this great mustache and he had a persona, and slightly older than me, so we were pretty much contemporaries. I depended on him, and he really came through in terms of his expertise. I remember the first time meeting him, just interviewing him. We had no HR department back in that day. This is in the mid to late 80s. And interviewing him, he just responded to a handwritten 3x5 note card ad on a seminary bulletin board. And I wound up meeting with him, and I think we both thought at the same time that this was answered prayer for both of us. I was looking for somebody exactly like him, and I think he was looking for a situation exactly like this. And I don't even think I checked the references. I thought this guy has the experience. He's somebody I think I can work with and help build our company, and he did. Those who worked with him know that Fred could have the pregnant pause and stare you down a little bit, and if you think that he only did that with people that worked for him, he also did that with me. But again, I think he was a straight shooter, told it the way he saw it. The consummate editorial vice president. He was really well organized, really structured. He ran a tight ship. If you like the articles in the various Beckett baseball, basketball, football, hockey, in those magazines back in that day, he was all over that. He was a strong leader. It had his imprint, I'd say more so than mine in those years for the articles. He really took charge of the editorial process and made it a process. Now, the Price Guide guys were different. They were more my guys, and they may have nominally reported to him, but they really reported to me. I had done that job. I was still doing that job. I knew what I was looking for. It was a little awkward because they were part of the editorial process, but the Price Guide was a different kind of editorial. Fred had been managing the editorial process over at Coin World, which was the leading coin periodical of the day. I could see he just knew how to set things up. He brought that experience and insight to our team. He was a collector, not so much of a baseball card collector, but he was a really serious, advanced coin, stamp, paper money collector, and was a published author, wrote a couple books. In fact, he wrote the leading book on his subspecialty that was written while he was on our team, and it was part of his pride and joy. It seemed to be a scholarly work. It was pretty thick and pretty detailed, but that's the kind of books I did too. Definitely a baseball fan. As I said, a vintage guy, kind of nostalgic. Loved Yogi Berra, member of Sabre. He was immersive. I also give him great kudos for his hiring. Not hiring him, I hired him, but after that, he hired a bunch of people, and very strong people. His years with the company were exactly the years of the great growth. We were adding people all the time, and he was integrating them in. And again, high marks for that. I don't think I could have done that. I was slow to hire. I think he was a pretty good judge of character, brought in some excellent people. And I think I had stress in those days with a growing company and a lot of moving parts, but I certainly could sleep soundly knowing that Fred was in charge of the editorial and that we were going to have an excellent product coming out on time every time. Now, he left our company shortly after my heart attack, which kind of brought about a significant reorganization, and there was a new president that came in. Arguably, Fred was a candidate for that, so he moved on. Now, he was the one responsible, maybe among others, but I remember him marching into my office and saying, I've got this dramatic cover idea for a Bo Jackson black and white photo that had some exposure, but he didn't get that excited that often. I'm not that excitable either, but we both knew this was a winner, and I think he walked in thinking I would need to be convinced, but I didn't. I could see pretty instantly he was on target. And I think part of his job and how he saw it is to really have some sense of the desires and pulse of our audience. Now, another thing that people don't know, and I think Rich knows this, but very few people have been over behind my wall of fame. This is another secret. Behind the slabs that some people can see on my Zoom background, but behind that wall of fame is another pride and joy of mine, and I have Fred to thank for that. Fred commissioned, I think it was a birthday present or a Christmas present for me from the company. He commissioned a couple sets of bound volumes of all the magazines that we had published, and it was updated each year. He got a set for me and a set for him. Mine are clearly not for sale. As I said, they're on the shelf there. I love looking at them. I know I can exactly find what I need. I'm not sure what happened to his, but he has the other set. So it's a one of two. His leadership style was different from mine. I think as I reflect back, and again, this obviously wouldn't be in an obituary, but feel like when Fred came in, he could see that I liked running kind of a SWAT team, where there was less structure, everybody pulls together, you accomplish the objective, and everybody needed to be sharp, conscientious, and a self-starter and self-motivated. And I'd be the backstop, the goalie. I could play different roles as needed. I also think, compared to Fred, I really strongly encourage dissent in the interest of continuous improvement. I love to engage with the team and have them push back, or me push back on some of their ideas to hopefully sharpen things. I think Fred was less hands-on, and with his established management structure and intermediate deadlines that really were necessary. Again, his way was different from mine. But I just want to say publicly that without Fred's contribution, our exponential growth during that decade would have been chaos. My way would not have scaled. I can see that in hindsight now. I want to thank Fred for that, Fred and all the other teammates that came in and really pitched in part of Fred's legacy, or the people that he left behind that held him in high esteem. So rest in peace, Fred Reed. Thank you for your contributions. Again, it was a week ago, but he worthy of great remembrance. So thanks, everybody. See you soon.